Fallbrook, Captain. We'll be here, Captain. Or
Welcome to Terra 1, the most Earth-like world in Halcyon. Take a moment to admire the triumph of civilization.
I believe I hear Felix and Parvati just... We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain. Please avoid damage.
Oh, it's you. I really do. Yes, go on and gloat. You've already ruined all my plans. The tour's not real, friend. Board shut it down years ago due to I outfitted every beacon with a recording device. Live footage of dim-witted mercenaries dying in gruesome ways across hell. Why the hell shouldn't it be legal? I filed the appropriate paperwork. Look, never... One certified explorer's hat.
Remember that stranger?
I can't. What can I... 2 outfits remain. Like a... What? I can't. What? Oh, yes, that's it. I have it. I know exact. The saucy confidence.
Monster leather. Is fashion catching up?
1 part Mantiqueen chitin, 3 parts hide from a raptidon's flank, and let's say... we're revolutionizing the fashion of Byzantium. I love the way you just smolder with contempt. It makes me want to spoil you. Get this done for me, and I'll...
I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. Something
Impressive place Dr. Chartrand has.
both make me nervous. Experiments always go wrong. Always.
That's far enough. What are you doing here? How did you even get inside? Hagen. I've never heard of her. Is she from the board? Damn it. I knew this would happen. This is utter nonsense. I've never even been to Groundbreaker. What happened to the team? Tell me you didn't move their suspension tanks. I'll tell you everything, just don't hurt them. Too many people have been harmed on my account.
What are you doing, Doctor? This information is beyond classified.
You can write me up in your report. It hardly matters. I'm researching a new way to feed the colony. The crops we transplanted from Earth don't give us the nutrients we need. Our colonists might not realize it yet, but they're starving. Our produce might get us through the day, but we're getting weaker as a species, and sicker.
Lack of nutrition also spread like a sickness through Edgewater.
The lack of usable nutrients is compromising our immune systems. Under these conditions, even the common cold could seem like a plague. The food we grow here barely sustains human life. The colony won't last under these conditions. So, the board let me approach the problem from a different angle. I believed that I could adapt humans to live on Halcyon's terms. That I could change us. Give us the ability to derive sustenance from the nutrients the food does have. Look around. We're the only intelligent aliens in Halcyon. Not for lack of trying. I wanted to save them all, but I wasn't strong enough. There are other teams. We didn't want to experiment on human test subjects, so we used the only resources we had. Each other. I'm desperate. I've already asked all the best institutes on Earth for help. Years ago, we sent a message out on the Cornelius Vanderbilt, but heard nothing back. You came to kill me. I assume that's still on the table. Please don't. If I die, there's no one who can reproduce our work. Every sacrifice will have been for nothing. And we'll be no closer to a solution.
Look, cold-blooded murder ain't easy on my spirits. But this, all this research, all these experiments, it's wrong. It's all void damn wrong.
Everything I did was for the good of the colony. Consider that.
It may not be pretty, but we risk the colony's downfall if we hinder the doctor's research.
I hope you know what you're doing, Captain. You won't regret this. I'm still far from the breakthrough I need, but you're at least giving me a chance. For now, I'd better pack up the lab and head somewhere discreet.
Not so fast. Captain, what you just learned is beyond your clearance. Hell, it's beyond mine. Give me one reason why I should let you walk out of here alive. You sure have an inflated sense of self-importance, but that doesn't make you wrong. Now move along. The doc has a lot of work.
hate to see you torture yourself with your grief, Miss Ramdarine Wentworth.
I got every right. Burying your friends ain't exactly a hangover. It's not gonna fade easy.
No, You're considering it, aren't you? Yes, you caught me ruminating. What?
Great! You made it! Listen, I know you're expecting a script, but you're the real deal. Just go in there. We gave the other actors real weapons to keep things authentic. And because Josh is paying to see their logo. See? Now go in there, find your mark, and show us what you...
Well, well. Here to stop us at last, Captain Steele? All of this settlement CNP Hungry Time food pills, same nutritional value, but now with added filler. With their patented stomach stuffing effects and baseline vitamin content, They are? What an unexpected twist!
Which side is my good?
Do you remember the last time we faced each other? The Battle of Axejack, staring one another down across the void of space while flaming debris fell like rain around us. I see you haven't changed a bit, Steele. I had you surrounded and outgunned, but you overcame my superior numbers with tactical thinking and a Hammersmith limited... I've been waiting for 5 years now, and at last... But still...
This what passes for entertainment around here? They ought to try tossing back a Spectrum Red and going rapt hunting. Someone's bound to...
Hey, no one told me we were giving critics an early look. I gotta focus. I have this whole port wired with sub-micro energon transistors. Once we're... Speechless, I see. It is a flawless plan. I hope you've paid your burial fees and signed your personal death and dismemberment waivers, because this is the end... Law, what a presence. To the break room, everyone. I need my Mo-App Fizzy...
Cut! That was fantastic. With actors like you, who needs writers? Let's take 5.
There's my star. Talk and talk with me. That was brilliant stuff. Hey, time is bits, right? I'm gonna have to fire the writing staff. What do those anemic fuckwits know about dialogue? And I'm thinking a whole new script. More pirates, bigger explosions, you flicking a Stogie Slim into a barrel of gasoline. Marketing says that kind of action sells tickets. Here, this is for your work today. Maybe we need more guns. Bigger guns.
Why can't something exciting happen around here for once?
Nothing wrong with stability.
Anti-Cleo's
If I spit, think I can hit that mechanical down?
You'll get in trouble.
No, I won't. Blame it on you. Wouldn't it be something to see if land here?
Don't be ridiculous. No way one would fit.
How would you know?
That's the last of them.
Finally. Is it just getting more and more retired recently?
Welcome to the Halcyon Holdings Corporation Early Retirement Center. You, the lucky few, have been selected to spend the rest of your days living the... When you arrive, you'll be whisked away to your very own luxury penthouse, furnished exclusively by 24/7 Furniture's deluxe Falscoid collection.
Nope, not having this. I've been through too many Marauder ambushes in my life to die by a trap built by corporate stencil pushers.
Processing system awaiting the area. Searching for...
We are victorious.
hell of a job.
Out with it, you wretched contraption! Does nothing in this city work anymore?
Oh, there. I must admit, I'm getting a certain thrill out of our little arrangement. It. I knew it. I just knew it. What a disaster. Did you get a... Truly? That's... I can't believe they kept this... Here, take your payment.
Poor thing's just ignorant. Can't...
Captain, Felix and the Vicar are arguing again. We are now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain. No blockade is a match for my piloting skills.
beast would need killing, so many drinks would need drinking.
Watch your footing. Can't afford any sprained ankles out here.
Incoming!
The report. Yoka is drunk. now in orbit above Edgewater, Captain.
I have your back.
Some crew members are causing a disturbance on the ship. We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain.
I've always loved.
What can I do for... I've been thinking of a name for this new outfit. While you were gone, I put in an order for one of my bespoke lapels. Solid gold, diamond... Those slackwits at HPS are holding my parcel while they wait for a signature. Bureaucracy is so utterly insufferable. Wonderful! I'm getting...
Oh, you got that? Nicely done.
Burning the midnight oil, are we? Welcome to Halcyon. If you would like to sign for a parcel, Halcyon that's just a little Nope.
Welcome to Halcyon Parcel Service, where all parcels are guaranteed to be delivered within a... How may I... Let me... It appears that a parcel for Ms. Jolicoeur It was. Let me see here. A parcel for Jolicoeur. Thank you for...
I'll sue every technician and employee who's ever touched it.
Hey, Mr. Vicar. Do you ever get a little bit homesick for Edgewater? For that ocean stink?
Can't say I miss this. for. Much about Edgewater, if I'm being truthful.
Halcyon Parcel Service is proud to... How may I... I must respectfully ask that you calm down, please.
How? Of course. If you could just verify for me that you are Jolicoeur... Yes, I can see by your eccentric... Everything seems to be... I hope this is...
I love Byzantium.
Hey, careful. Don't go running around in the middle of a... You mean Ms. Jolicoeur? She was reported for practicing a subversive aesthetic. Never took her for a dissident sympathizer. No argument there. Feels like the whole colony's going insane. What with Byzantium cultural standards are enforced by universal defense logistics. What do you think you're... I don't have time for this. Move along.
I believe your choice to spare Chartrand would be considered the honorable path. Yes? Destination reached. Scylla.
Outlaw. Enough. Just that good.
Multiple fractures, lacerations, and untreated burns detected. Signs indicative of sudden, violent crash landing.
Yep, that's me. No big deal. Just shrugging off my injuries as I stroll away from another flaming impact crater.
Also detecting constipation, hair loss, reduced fertility due to tight trousers. Recommend stimulant injection.
Hair loss? You take that back. Here we go! Nice one!
Some crew members are causing a disturbance on the ship.
Dead center. Next round's on you.
We've arrived at the groundbreaker.
Rizzo's lemon slap. Slap your whole family tonight.
Hello. Now is this... Take...
Keep hanging around and I'll... What can I... Oh my. I suppose the man finally found himself in a spot. I should be lamenting the mechanicals, but... Well...
work.
Dangers of alien wildlife and the unemployed. Talk to your local manager about applying for military training and let...
Don't mess with
CNP Force Pocket. 2.5 seconds.
Might I ask how you are faring, Ms. Holcomb?
I'm not winded. Honest. My, boot was untied.
Is it done? Well, damn. Contractor grew a conscience. As your employer, I'm both angry and... Technically, I owe you an exit interview. Care to justify your betrayal of our... You're awfully quick to trust someone who offed her colleagues and called it out of my office.
You think maybe she's got an itchy trigger finger?
What a surprise.
Phineas's top-secret orbital lab.
I'd clap you on the shoulder if I weren't behind a wall of bulletproof glass. According to Hiram's message, Minister Clark has ordered a suspicious amount of dimethyl sulfoxide. It's almost typical elitist, hoarding supplies during a time of scarcity. So, good news. I'm giving you my old nav key. Remember? Of course. What's... You absolutely should. The adjutant must have sent you some kind of tracking code. If you don't use the code, I think you should use the code and send a corrupted... Use my communications terminal.
Sending a corrupt... You have a message from
I'm impressed, Captain. I almost expected you wouldn't go. Unfortunately, Dr. Wells found a way to corrupt the signal before we could pinpoint his location. Still, come visit me in Byzantium. We need to have a talk about the future of this. Transmissions are so impersonal.
Adjutant Akande has ended her call. Rather rudely, if I might say, considering she didn't sign off. We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain.
Do you mind? Shh. The Phoenix is a wanted man and the board has eyes everywhere in... Yeah, you're looking to make contact... I should warn you, it won't be easy. He spends most of his time in his estate. Afraid not.
Can't say I blame him. It's scary out of doors. I mean, can you even count how many times...
What work specialists, huh? I've always been fascinated by birds. If you ever research Earth species, there are thousands of...
Here we got 11 flavors of terror rays and not much else. That kind of variety? I mean, gosh.
The other thing about birds, though, is their environmental... Exactly. I started thinking about everything we see around Halcyon. For starters, you rarely come across anyone living in Byzantium who wasn't born here. Doesn't that seem... And then there's the way nothing gets fixed. There used to be a suggestion box around here. People would drop ideas in. Sure, that part is. That's why they install shredders in those boxes. But one day the shredder broke. No one came to fix it. And since it wasn't working, we didn't have anywhere to file our complaints. So you can...
I bet your repair folks couldn't find parts. Back in Edgewater, I'd have to take something apart just to...
Might have been the paperwork. Here, you have to append forms to your forms, and law help you if... At first, management put up an out-of-order sign, but that just seemed to worry people. Like they were advertising something wasn't working.
Why would the Golden City need suggestions for...
It's really so people can feel heard. Everyone's got something to complain about, you know? They eventually took the whole suggestion box sign down so that people didn't have any expectations about it. But they never fixed it, never replaced it. Except that's not how they go. At least that's not how they're supposed to. The whole episode made me wonder, if they can't fix something as simple as a suggestion box. After a while, I got connected with our mutual friend and started using my position here to feed him.
Keep your eyes out for dissidents.
How did you get in here? You're not one.
Oh, my law. Captain! Captain!
Minister Clark, what a remarkable...
If this is about another Aetherwave clip or radio spot, you may kindly fuck off, as the parlance goes. I'm not drugs, of course. What? I don't have any drugs.
He's got no idea what we're at.
Will that... Oh dear, I don't think I can say this. Of course. It's Rockwell again, who else? And I thought he was only holding me here to keep me out of the way. Chairman Rockwell. He's kept me under house arrest for years. I've long suspected him of transacting business in my name. But this...
He's attempting to game the system, but he won't be able to get away with it forever. Eventually, Rockwell...
I dearly hope so. And you might be part... Whatever it is that brought you here, Rockwell's the... Whatever Rockwell's doing, he'll be doing it from the HHC headquarters.
This all feels off, Captain. Like when there's a storm coming, but every...
Believe me, things have been off around here for a very, very long time.
Captain, we must investigate Rockwell. An injustice like this cannot go on.
Indeed, it cannot. I can't overstate the urgency. Why, this is starting to sound like an issue of dissident. It usually doesn't turn out so well for the dissidents in the... Now, we've got to get into the HHC. That's in the Acropolis district, along with the other major... But only board employees are allowed into the district. There might be a route through the maintenance tunnels, but I'm afraid I don't know... Well, you won't have much human company down there. Plenty of... When you reach the HHC building, this access card should get you up to the executive suites, where the chairman's office and what... Wait! Rockwell has one of the only terminals capable of transmitting to the Earthbound message drone. Please, take this and transmit it from his office. Rockwell hasn't given me any messages from Earth for years, but they need to... Good.
I understand your Maverick.
I'm curious. Wells may have been a delusional madman, but duty is an old-fashioned notion. But it is. You've done well. You're efficient, talented, loyal. And if you're ready to get to work, we can finally... I'm glad to hear that. Because the board's sending you to Monarch. My sources tell me you've been busy on Monarch. I'm sure you've seen the miserable state of affairs there, but lawless cesspool that it may be. All of Monarch's extraplanetary broadcasts are routed through Devil's Peak Station. I want you to claim Devil's Peak Station. I have an agent working in Stellar Bay. Everett Gill. Have a word with him as soon as you arrive. The passphrase is, the kind of pine grows at... Speak to Percival before you go. He'll arrange for your reward for turning it.
Adjutant Akande has instructed me to... As an acting agent of the board, you are entitled to purchase a selection of official... Do let... Excuse me, just a moment.
One person gets all this space.
Good afternoon. I'm Chairman Rockwell, and I'm here to address a serious issue facing us. As you all know, our colony has been successful beyond our wildest dreams. Unfortunately, we've recently discovered that our food supply will not be able to sustain Halcyon's population in the long term. Everyone will die. everyone will slowly stop living from malnutrition. But we're doing it together, and that's what matters. I fucking swear, if someone doesn't give me something to read that will placate the masses soon, all of you will find yourselves violently unemployed. But I can assure you there's nothing to fear. We've got a solution. It's called the Lifetime Employment Program. We will freeze most of the colony to preserve resources, while the best and brightest of Byzantium continue living in prosperity. Look, you idiots! How many times do I have to tell you we can't say shit like that? Fire whoever wrote this! While Halcyon's brightest minds solve the problem of our nutritional shortage, the rest of the colony will be placed in suspended animation. Individuals will be revived on a rotating basis so that every Halcyonite can be part of the important work of saving our colony. By testing paperweights. Sorry, couldn't resist. Let's go again. And someday, in the not-too-distant future when we've solved this crisis, we'll all be back together again working for the good of Halcyon. Until then, the board shall provide for the deserving just as it always has. So, obey your supervisors, take your vitamins, follow your corporate-mandated grooming rituals, and rest assured with the board on your side, there is nothing to worry about.
Can we talk? If I still believed in the grand plan, a revelation like this would have seriously shaken my faith. Knowing you, I can only assume you have already begun formulating a plan to deal with this. So... I hate to contradict you by pointing out that everyone dies. But it is better to die last, I suppose. Anything you...
I beg your pardon, Minister Clark's for... What?
Coming over to you.
Sorry, I shouldn't talk. Not without signing a waiver. I think I'm gonna start taking my lunches out in the city.
Let the record show that Subject 23K's cause of death.
If you don't mind my saying, Captain. Now arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab. Good luck, Captain.
All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. I'll take as much as you can give me. Yes, well, that's obvious. Anyone with two working labs can see this colony's slouching toward oblivion. Why do you think we've been doing all this? I revived you to help me save Halcyon from... Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse? And the chairman's plan to save all of us is to save him? I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. That's not a plan. That makes two things we don't have. Time and chemicals to revive the others. None of this was supposed to happen. I was supposed to revive the Hope's colonists. We were supposed to have enough time to solve the problem. Human test subjects. Oh, that's grotesque. That's... Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they came at the cost. Those poor people, they must have died in agony. What You say the board's trying to freeze their subjects over and over again without inflicting permanent damage? Well, they're nowhere close to solving that. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost after years of fruitless experimentation. We're out of time. We're out of chemicals. We may very well be out of options. If the board has their way, we're all going to be spending the rest of our lives frozen. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all. Toss them out into space just to make... No, it wasn't. We have... Well, let's see. We have at least some of the chemicals. We have your ship, and we have you. Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists, the brightest minds Earth... The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the Hope into a prison for the rest of us. We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off the Hope. Merciful gibbering law, you're a genius! Skip! We can skip the Hope. Don't you see? If we can't go to the Hope, If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2.
I don't know much about skip drives, not the physics anyhow. I do know the Hope's real massive.
Excellent question, my sharp-witted mechanic. You will use your own ship to power up the Hope's skip drive. Your navigational computer can handle the rest.
And that's going to work, without killing us in the process. I thought intra-system microjumps were prohibited for a reason.
Yes, there's always a risk of a catastrophic collision between the Hope and, say, Terra 2, in theory. But you'll be fine, provided... You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the Unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be able to activate the Hope's skip drive. Once you... I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can...
A reminder to all crew members, there is... We have arrived at the Hope. I need you to reroute power from our ship to the... You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system so I can convince her central... If your calculations are even slightly off, you could crash or the sun. Captain, I hope Dr. Wells has not dragged you into one of his irrational schemes again. My diagnosis of his mental stability is not flattering.
Power's out, Captain.
You know, when they posted us here, I told them there wasn't any point. Nobody would... Shows how much I know. You've got about 5 seconds to tell me what... Explode? All right. You'll want a uniform so my staff doesn't shoot you. We've got a few extra in the...
That's the last of us!
Great work.
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious. Greetings, Captain. I am speaking to you through the Hope's computer system. It's a rather cramped... Are you sure? That is extremely dangerous. And also potentially kill an entire planet. How is my... Jump-starting the skip drive.
Well, it's been a good life.
Doing it. I mean, affirmative. Skipping the Hope in 3...
Does your captain seriously intend to do a micro-jump in system with engines that haven't been powered in 70 years? On a derelict ship?
That is what my captain intends, yes.
But that is a gross misuse of the skip drive. The Zero Point Drives Corp and I will not be held responsible for any damage incurred during transport. And this will cause extreme damage.
Yes, I am aware of that.
You should not be doing this. The humans will die.
Thank you, Hope. It looks like all systems are go. Captain, I would advise you to hold on to something. Now. Oh, good. We are still alive and have successfully skipped into Terra 2's orbit. I reported as much to Phineas Wells, but he has not responded. Perhaps you should check in on him.
We're alive! We made it! I never had any doubts.
Captain, I shall now play the transmission I received from Dr. Wells.
Thank the Lord you warned me. I was able to get some defenses up, but they might not be enough. The board has sent some serious fire. They're trying to get in here, and I'm not sure I can stop them. If they capture me, if we can't communicate again, there's the board. All their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital. How can I be... I'll be here. We have successfully arrived at Phineas's orbital lab, Captain, and we are still in one...
Our victory is their defeat.
Sam, Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you as you humans.
Doc Wells never hurt nobody. Just a kindly old fella living by his lonesome up in the rings, tinkering at his table.
Breaking Phineas Wells out of a maximum security penitentiary. I can't think of a better lost cause to commit ourselves to.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need to
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
If we don't make it, at least it'll be a great story.
Got my trusty tossball stick, got my ass-kicking boots.
Outstanding.
You can count on us, Captain. We're crew. For real crew. That means we got each other's back.
Never thought I'd volunteer to break into a prison. Seems like your tendency towards risky behavior.
Command not recognized.
Waiting on your command, Captain. Captain Hawthorne used to be more dashing. Captain Hawthorne never... I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible. Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is an explicit violation of UDL Corporate. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized, at which point your vessel will be seized and you will be executed. I wager it'll take a bit longer than it takes you to lose your patience and storm out of your ship looking to get shot. To be honest, that'd make my job a lot easier. You come out, we shoot you full of holes, and then everyone goes up. All right, I'm feeling generous. I'm transmitting the idea of a productive, law-abiding employee so you can see what one... Anyway, Tartarus Docking Authority... Wait, is that from the Groundbreaker? What the... Pay no mind to that, just have a pleasant...
Transmission terminated. Biometric ID received. Transferring data to external... How can I be of... Goodbye.
The captain did right by us once.
What was
Now
that?
it's
What was
our
that?
turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardat.
More paperwork.
Open fire! Bring him down!
This place, the labyrinth. Perhaps we should all meditate on that as we make our descent.
This might be the loneliest place in the whole system. Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
Got your paperwork squared away.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have.
And the convict. The vicar. You know, most people, once they're out of prison, don't seem...
Oh, I would go anywhere to see you fall.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable. I'm not in your way, you dullard. You talk to me. You want to go die in a blaze of glory? Besides, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but Sophia's doing good work up there with Phineas. Your efforts will be in vain.
We are victorious.
Well...
Fuss is about a blasted lab coat.
Captain, you've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, you've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. I'm afraid you have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, You would have been the greatest fixer Halcyon has. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my... Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of... Fair enough. I'm giving... Interesting that you think I'm going to die here. I believe I... Fair point. I don't know how you've managed to defy the odds. By every reasonable estimate, you should be dead. I've devoted my entire life to protecting Halcyon. There isn't much of a board left, thanks to you. You've thrown this system into disarray. Cleaning up your... You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you, but you threw your lot in with that madman, Phineas. Rockwell said that. Chairman Rockwell? You're lying. This is another one of your tricks. I've been the That's ridiculous. Halcyon is collapsing. The Labyrinth is rioting. You're running wild through the colony. And I let the situation get out of hand? I have given the chairman nothing less than a lifetime of loyal, honorable service. And this is how he repays me. By leaving me twisting in the wind. Enough. I'm not going to stand here bickering with you. I haven't given up on the program yet. You've caused some complications, but I haven't lost control of the Labyrinth yet. Our security system is still up. What? You can't be serious. Oh, for the love of the law. All right. Congratulations, Captain. You've outplayed me. I accept your... I just hope you've made the right decision. The fate of the colony is in your hands now. I bid you farewell.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You must have said something to get under Akande's skin. She's gone, and I don't think she's coming. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation... I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no... 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all. Earth is only an idea to us. But that idea is the bedrock the colony is built upon. If people were to find out it's gone dark, the shock could be too much to bear. I don't want to imagine what'll happen once news gets out. Let's just keep this between us.
You mean... we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose.
we're entirely... Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a... We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take...
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Without Lilia Hagen, Sublight Salvage fell apart. The company fractured, evolving into a series of unregulated criminal gangs, fences, and smugglers. Their facade of legitimacy quickly faded. In time, the Sublight family was forgotten. After returning to Edgewater, the deserters negotiated workplace reforms with Reed Thompson, including a single day of rest, which came to be known as a weekend. As the world around him changed, Thompson found himself pining for the old days. He was known to spend his weekends in the cantina, nursing one of the few remaining bottles of Zero G, and repeating to himself, "It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice." As for Adelaide McDevitt, she tended to her garden in solitude for another year before passing away. Her body was discovered some months later, when Reed Thompson paid her a visit in an effort to make amends. Her remains were buried in a place of honor, underneath the floor of the Edgewater Cannery. Reed believed this was what she always wanted. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless, unshackled from a life time of striving and fighting the universe and himself. Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name. And in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail, or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. It was widely suspected that Sophia Akande was the true power behind Chairman Rockwell. However, after the riots on Tartarus, she was never again seen in the colony. Various theories circulated as to her fate. Some believed she boarded an interstellar ship capable of journeying to a distant colony. Others believed she died trying to escape Tartarus. Some few suggest she fled to Monarch, where she continued to live among a small band of loyalists. There is another theory, which suggests that Sophia's encounter with you changed her, and she deliberately retreated from public view, but continued supporting the colony in secret. When Dr. Wells began reviving the Hope's colonists, he found himself with a sudden windfall of additional supplies and resources, courtesy of an anonymous donor. If Wells knew who his supplier was, he never told a soul. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past, and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.